What is shakin', Internet? Welcome to A Dash of Salts, where Salts answers your questions every week. This is the week of, I don't really know, but November 16th. So the week ending in November 16th, on Sunday, November 16th, I got a whole bunch of questions. I'm going to go ahead and pick 5, and I'm just going to go ahead and answer them on the show real quick. Real quick, before we get started, if you want to submit a question, please either leave it in the comments below of this video, or send an email to a-dash.of.salts@gmail.com. That's a dash of salts with all periods in between at gmail.com. So let's get right into it. Our first question of the day comes from Super Crooked Smile. Very nice name. Super Crooked Smile asks, how were you introduced to video games? So this is actually a really fun question for me. Basically, I was introduced to video games very early on. I started playing video games at the age of about 4. And which was a big deal back in the 80s. So I started playing video games at the age of 4 when my brother had an NES, and he was playing, actually he had an Atari and an NES. So I don't know if I actually ever played Atari or watched him play his Atari and some Lynx system? L something. I can't remember. There was some other system as far as the Atari goes. But either way, I remember the NES very vividly because I remember watching my brother for hours playing Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy 1 back on the old NES. And I remember going, how is he doing this? It was incredible to watch him play this stuff because I really didn't understand. I even played Final Fantasy after him. He let me play, and I erased his save file and couldn't get past, the first boss. I couldn't even get to the first boss because I couldn't figure out what to do. But it was hilarious. I went back and played Final Fantasy and have beaten it since then. But either way, that's kind of how I got introduced to video games. He played old school baseball game, that all-star baseball game that everybody plays. What was the other one? There was like Base Wars, where you played as robots playing baseball, and he would always just destroy me. And it was so bad, I would actually get so upset after playing video games with him and he just totally dominating me, that he actually started making me sign a contract that I would not cry after playing video games, after he beat me in video games. So I signed a contract. That was my childhood. So either way, that's a quick answer to that question. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, Austin Bunce, I don't know how to say your last name, but Bunce asks, will WoD be the intro to an expansion for finally killing the rest of the Burning Legion? Do you think Azeroth will change when we get back from Draenor because we're going back in time? So the very short answer is absolutely not for both of the questions, and this is why. Basically, at BlizzCon, if you were paying attention at BlizzCon, they actually stated that basically the time travel thing is not a big deal. They're not gonna dwell on it. They're not gonna pretend that it's a real thing. Basically, they're only doing this so we can go to Draenor and see all the warlords at Draenor. That's literally it. That's the end of the story. They don't care about the time travel. They don't care about the, oh, now we have 2 Garroshes, or oh, now we have 2 Groms, or no, now we have 2 of this legendary weapon. We're not doing any of that stuff. It's literally, hey, let's go to Draenor, let's do all this stuff, let's pretend it didn't happen afterwards, and move on. And because of that, I don't think that we're going to be doing anything for the Burning Legion. At least our Burning Legion. I mean, we might do something with the alternate reality, alternate past Burning Legion stuff, but I really don't think we'll do much with them. We might see a little bit of like Kill Jade and just like a throwback to the Sunwell Plateau, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be involved at all. There's also one other thing that kind of indicates this for me, and that is because Blizzard at BlizzCon, all those people basically said, we are going to be still playing World of Warcraft in 10 years. They want it to go strong. This is the 10-year anniversary, obviously, and they said 10 years from now, WoW will still be a thing and still be going. If they're planning on going for 10 more years, I really don't think that they're going to start the Burning Legion stuff now. Because, honestly, when we get to the Burning Legion stuff, when we start going after Sargeras, like, once we kill Sargeras, I think that's it. Like, there is no more World of Warcraft. There is no more Warcraft, even. That is the end of the story. Like, there is nothing beyond that. So, and they've even said that Sargeras is, like, the big bad. He's the worst. He's the biggest guy out there. I mean, he's been, technically, I don't know if he was around in Warcraft 1. Technically, he was, but I think they've kind of retconned him in. But either way, I mean, he's been around since the beginning, and he's been, behind the scenes for the entire thing. So basically, I say no, this is not going to happen. This is not a big thing. We're just going to go there, we're going to have fun at Draenor, and then we're going to leave and pretend like it never happened. I do kind of hope that some of the characters persist, because Ural Ural is that Draenei, and I mean there's a couple other ones, but like Ural, I love Ural. I love her in the Alliance side quest, and she's just fantastic. And there's also some other ones that I can't name, I can't remember right now, but yeah, I mean I think it's a shame to go ahead and just drop all those characters and things like that, but I also think that it doesn't matter. This is like a, hey, let's go have fun and pretend it never happened afterwards. So there you go. That's the answer to that question. So next question is Fakaxi. Yeah, Fakaxi. I think that's how you're saying your name. Sorry. Fakaxi asks, can you do mythic guides in WoD, Warlords of Draenor? The answer is probably not, because I'm not that good. So here's the big deal. Mythic is obviously top tier rating, and I have only been there at one point. I was doing heroic rating back in Cataclysm, back at the what is it? The very last one, the Dragon Soul. I did heroic Dragon Soul when it was still relevant, after a couple of the nerfs, of course, but when it was still the top tier rating, like the highest grade there is out there. We kind of carried over into Mists of Pandaria, but my guild kind of fell apart, so I don't really have a guild. I still have a guild, and I'm going to stick with that guild forever because I love them. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to, we don't have a raiding group right now. So I don't have 19 friends that I can go on and raid with. We are trying to get back into normal now that, normal is flexible. And, normal's flex, heroic is normal, all that stuff. I think we're going to try and get back into normal and then eventually heroic. But I don't believe that I'll ever get up to mythic. And there's also a second reason why I probably won't be doing mythic guides. And that's because my guides are tanking for dummies. My guides are dumbed down to the very basics of the fight, what you need to know. Honestly, when you get to the mythic level, when you get to that high tier level of rating, the dummy guides aren't going to cut it. You're going to need to know what's going on, and you're going to have a good group. It's more than just you at that point. However, you still can do a lot of things right, and if you know all the mechanics of the fight, that's really important. A lot of the times that we've seen in the past, heroic or mythic level rating isn't that different than normal. It's just harder numbers. It's just harder stuff. Stuff kills you faster and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, there are new mechanics that I could be covering. So number one, the reason I'm not going to probably do mythics is because I actually don't do mythic rating. And because I don't do mythic rating, I don't think I can find any footage of it. If I could get footage of it, I would not mind doing a guide at all. But since I won't be doing it, I won't get that footage, and I won't be able to do anything like that. So without footage, I won't be making videos. And second, because I make guides for dummies, and yeah, I just don't see mythic being a place for dummies, personally. But either way, that's a quick answer to your question. Thank you very much for that question, and moving right along. So the next question is from JMTX2. JMTX2 asks, what do you think about the way they're doing legendaries in Mists of Pandaria and Warlords of Draenor? Is this a good system, or do you prefer the old way where it was for a specific class or role? So my thoughts on legendaries. This is kind of a big topic that's been going on forever and ever. Back in the day, legendaries were awful to deal with in a guild setting, because basically one person would get a legendary, and you'd have to spend weeks and weeks and months on getting that one person a legendary, and then you'd have to spend all the rest of the time getting the next person, and then the next person, and the next person. So somebody would have to get picked and say, you are going to get a legendary, you are going to work on it. And it was really bad for guilds. Like, guilds had serious drama over this. I was never a part of this drama, luckily, so because I could care less about gear and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, that was really hard for people to figure out where those legendaries would go. So what they did is, in Mists of Pandaria, they switched it up and said, everybody gets legendaries, all you have to do is put a whole bunch of time in. And honestly, it's not hard to get a legendary, it's just time consuming. That's literally all you have to do. All you have to do is just keep persisting, keep running the same stuff over and over and over again, and eventually you will get a legendary. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm kind of on the fence because both ways have their downfalls and both ways have their ups and downs. Basically, their perks and pros and cons and all that stuff. At the end of the day, I think the MOP and WoD legendaries, the newer ones, are slightly better than the other ones because it is still very time consuming. You don't see everybody running around with a legendary cloak, even though, yes, you do see a lot of people running around with legendary cloaks, like more than you would see, obviously, people running around with Thunder Fury back in classic WoW, or the daggers in Cataclysm or something like that. But at the end of the day, I do think that everyone should be able to get a legendary. I would like to see it kind of close to the WoD or MOP style, where it is, everybody can work on it in their own fashion or on their own time, but you have to do specific things. But I would also like to see a little bit of harder content. Like, yes, you have to run this, and then it's like, oh, you have to go run challenge mode, and you have to get a gold on challenge mode. Or, you have to actually do something that is, you are going to have to really work at getting this done. I want that to be part of the legendary quest. I want the legendary quest to not only be relatively time consuming, but still on a personal level, like I'm spending my time to do it, even though I'm not wasting everybody else's time, and I'm not spending my time to get everybody else a legendary right now, like unless I really want them to help them out. But I want it more to be a personal thing, and I want it to be harder. I want more hard content to be done, which is kind of hard because, the solo content, you can only make solo content so hard because the class is imbalanced. You have the solo tanks, which can solo things way better than solo, I don't know, like a solo rogue or something else. Like, they do a lot of damage, but they die really fast, or they can't tank a whole bunch of mobs. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but I think that they could make it to where it's harder content, or just harder in general to get a legendary, because right now it's literally just a time sink. You spend enough time, you'll get a legendary, end of story. That's pretty much all you have to do. You can literally, my 6-year-old can go play World of Warcraft long enough, and eventually she'll get a legendary. Hooray! So I don't think that it's in the right place right now, but I do think it is better than it used to be, because it used to be super duper hard and you never saw anybody with it, and I don't find that very enjoyable, because that was more like hey, you have to go with a huge group of people, because you couldn't do any of that stuff alone. It's like you have to go with a huge group of people, and you have to spend a lot of time with everybody else, and you have to wait until they get it, and then you have to hope that you get picked next. And so it's like, there's too much politics and stuff involved. I want it to be solo stuff. I want it to be, hey, I'm doing it all the work, so I should get the rewards kind of stuff. But either way, I kind of felt like I rambled on about that, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I like the newer way, but, it's not perfect. End of story. Okay, moving on to Tommy Tran. Tommy Tran asks, will you do a Calista video? Calista is obviously the new champion for League of Legends. She hasn't been released yet, but she's been previewed. She's on the public beta environment, everything like that. The answer is probably no. I will not be doing a Calista video. Yes, I could buy her on day one, and yes, I could do a video of her, but at the end of the day, League of Legends is kind of taking a back seat because World of Warcraft is kind of front and center right now. I have so many videos and so many guides to do on World of Warcraft that I'm probably not going to focus much on League of Legends. Honestly, the only time I've logged into League of Legends in the last week is to play a bots game real quick to get my free IP and to check out the new Summoner's Rift map, which, by the way, it looks awesome. It looks fantastic. I'm really super happy about the Summoner's Rift thing, but with ranked basically meaning nothing right now, I'm kind of like, I'll play it when it gets back, when ranked makes sense again, but right now it's all about World of Warcraft. So at the end of the day, I probably will not be doing a Calista video. I'm sorry if that's a little disappointing. I might do some League if I get to play with some friends or things like that, but it's all World of Warcraft all the time right now. So there's my 5 questions for the week. This week I'm going to give you a bonus question because somebody suggested it. So either way, I'm just going to go ahead and toss this out there. Joram Barcode. I have no idea if I said that name right, but Joram Barcode asks, are you currently watching any TV series, and if so, which? I honestly don't watch a lot of TV, but I do watch TV series every so often. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off a couple of shows that I do watch. Number one that I'm watching right now is The Legend of Korra. Obviously, they're in the 4th season of The Legend of Korra, the final season. It's about halfway through now, maybe a little bit over halfway, and it's fantastic. I love this. I actually did watch all of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I thought that show was okay. I don't think it was the most amazing thing ever that everybody else thought. It was like, oh, it's such a beautiful masterpiece of a show. I thought it was fun. It was a little kid-friendly, especially in the earlier episodes, but it definitely got better. I liked Legend of Korra. Legend of Korra Season 1 was absolutely fantastic. Season 2 and Season 3 have been kind of mixed bag, some of it good, some of it bad. But at the end of the day, I still really like Legend of Korra. I do like the new last season. I think the last season's going great, and I'm excited to watch the end of that series. Other shows that I kind of watch on and off are, well, My wife will laugh at me at this one. I actually watched Last Man Standing. I don't watch Last Man Standing, but my wife is watching it on Netflix right now, and she loves it. Like, she thought it was fantastic, and I started listening to it. I kind of listen to it passively while I play games and things like that. And I love Last Man Standing because it's got Tim Allen, Tim the Toolman Taylor. What's his name? Is his name really Tim Allen? Tim Allen is his real name. Yeah, he's fantastic in it. It's a super campy show. Obviously, it's just tongue in cheek. Throw all this stuff, and none of it means anything. Nothing's dramatic. Nothing's serious, and I love it. I love how funny it is because I think it's really well written. The next show I was going to tell you about was Sherlock. Obviously, I watch a lot of Sherlock. Obviously, it only has 3 or 4 seasons out at this point. I've only seen the first 3 seasons, so I still need to watch the last one, I think. But I do love Sherlock. Obviously, Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman are fantastic in that show. And that's great. And finally, of course, the big one that everybody should be watching is Game of Thrones. Everybody and their brother should watch Game of Thrones. I've actually read all the novels, listened to all the audio novels. But at the end of the day, I mean, this show is fantastic. I love it. If you are a fan of any kind of serious, drama show or anything like that, you need to watch it. It is a little gory. It is a little graphic sometimes because it's on HBO. But at the end of the day, it is a fantastic and phenomenal show. So I definitely suggest you watch those. So that's just kind of a quick list of things that I can think of on the show's front. So that's my bonus question, and that's my bonus answer of the week. So that's the end of the questions for this week. So I'm going to go ahead and say these 5 people, including I think Barcode, Joram Barcode said that he didn't want to be entered, but I let him do a bonus question either way. So the other 5 are going to be entered into the contest to win at the end of November. Basically, the last Sunday of November, I will be doing one last video to answer the last 5 questions, and then I will select a winner of all the people who have submitted videos over the entire course of the month. So if those people that got their questions answered here, if you haven't subscribed to me yet, you need to subscribe to me so that you can check out my new videos when I come to there, and you can see if you won or not. So please subscribe if you do that. And also, if you would like to enter the contest for next week, next Sunday, I'll be taking 5 more questions, and I'll be answering them as well. And those 5 people will be entered to win the November contest as well. The November contest is the same as all the other month contests, hopefully, which is a $20 gift card of your choice to pretty much anything that I can get a code for. I can get you a $20 Steam code. I can get you a $20 League of Legends RP code. I can give you a $20 Battle.net code. Basically $20 for anything that I can get you in the North America regions of any game. Just let me know. So either way, that's been all the questions. Please submit more questions. To submit more questions, you need to leave a comment in the video below. Just leave a comment right here on this video, and hopefully subscribe so that you can see if you got your question picked or not. And also, if you can also send an email to a.dash.of.salts@gmail.com, like I said at the very beginning of the video. And that's a-of-salts with periods in between @gmail.com. So please send in some more videos, send in some more questions rather, so I can answer them. And just really, in general, anything, ask Salts. Ask me anything and I will answer it, as you saw from all the questions on here. Either way, I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. So please like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, you keep it saltsy, Internet.